when there's a knock upon my door, it turns out to be some man. Oh, winter's such a problem, isn't it?
It's spring, isn't it?
Yes, and time to weed out what one mightn't need next winter. Otherwise, one has to lug it about everywhere one shifts, pay overweight. There's no point doing that, is there? I suppose there must be some places around here which would be glad of second-hand clothes. I mean, they could always send them to underprivileged countries, couldn't they?
Wouldn't it be wiser to sell some of the more expensive items?
What for?
Running expenses?
A girl should never provide her own running expenses. Men notice things like that and tend to expect it of her always.
Yes, but wouldn't it go to help the bill you're running up here?
Just a thought. And what made you think it?
Well, I know your mother's going to meet the bill here, but, well, it would be fair, wouldn't it, if it wasn't such a big one?
Go on.
Well, I think I've said it all, haven't I? I mean, do you know your mother's financial situation?
Do you?
No.
Well, that makes two of us. Anyway, who said anything about me leaning on Mother?
Well, you're not going to be able to meet your bill, are you?
I never meet my bills myself. At least not by your way of thinking.
Oh, some man will.
Of course some man will, one day. Gratefully.
Well, mightn't it lighten the eventual load if you, came as my guest to Chimneys?
Why are you being so persistent, all of you, nudging me this way and that out of the motel? Don't you feel that Richard Lord can afford me?
Richard Lord?
Who else do you think offered to stand surety for me to David in respect of my bill?
But David would have told me as part of the management.
I think you'll find that David managed not to at Richard's request. Very discreet is David. So is Richard.
Oh. Well, if you change your mind about coming to Chimneys, just, let me know.
Certainly, and thank you for the invitation. But I'm most comfortable here, so long as Richard doesn't change his mind.
I'm beginning to wonder if you've left Richard any mind to change.
Do you want me to give you a hand, Mum?
No, it's all right, love. I can do it. It'll take a minute.
Should just make it if Dobson isn't early.
Right. What time will you be in tonight?
6:30, you can rely on that.
Oh, good. I'll have you all round the table then. We'll have a nice slap-up meal. I thought we'd get some steak and a bottle of wine.
Special occasion?
No, she's trying to cheer Mac up.
Oh, don't give much for her chances. By the time Morris told him what Trina can take him for, he'll probably want to throw himself in the canal on the way home from work. Hey, look at this.
What is it?
It's from the estate agents.
Huh, they don't give up, do they? I thought you said they'd taken us off the list.
Well, it takes some time to get round to it. Look, it's out on that small private estate just outside the village. You remember the one we drove past? The one you said you liked the look of?
Oh, yeah. Well, there's no point, is there? We can't even think about leaving here.
Well, why not? We're a family now, you know, not just two kids living at home with Mum. It is time we thought about a place of our own.
We can't afford it.
Of course we can. I'm earning enough. And at our age, well, we should get a good mortgage. Won't be paying much more than we are here. Besides, I'm sick and tired of living in somebody else's house. Your mum's been as good as gold, but it's still her place, and I still feel like a lodger.
But why now? I'm expecting a baby, Kevin. I don't want to move. I want to be here. I feel safe here.
Because you still look on this as home. You're still little Glenda Brownlow at heart, with your mum to look after you. Well, you're Glenda Banks now, love. You're my wife, and you're going to be a mother yourself soon. Time to move on, eh? Grow up.
Well, why can't we wait till after the baby's born?
Of course, the houses ain't going to get any cheaper, and this is a bargain. Look, I've got to get going. Have a look, have a read. Tell me what you think, all right? See you, Mum.
Yes, okay, now.
Did you hear any of that?
Enough.
Why does he have to choose now, just when I was feeling happy about the baby?
Well, I'm not surprised it hasn't happened before. I mean, he's been very good, hasn't he?
Well, you're on his side, then. You think we ought to go in for a house?
No, it's just that, I mean, he's set his heart on it, hasn't he, love? Anyway, he's right. It's time you had a place of your own.
Yeah, but on that estate, Mum. Not knowing anybody. Supposing I was taken ill, or the baby started.
Well, you just pick up the phone and call me, or Kevin, or anybody. We'd be there in no time. I mean, I could walk it in 20 minutes.
All right. Well, how would you manage then with money without our money coming in?
Oh, Glenda, love. How many times have you ever heard me talking about the pension your dad left me? He left me more than well provided for. I mean, in the first place, his endowment policy paid off what was left of the mortgage, so the house is mine. And in the second place... Hang on a minute, I'll show you something. I mean, in a funny way, you know. I'm better off financially than I was when he was alive. And as for being on my own, well, I'm not helpless, you know. I've got Mac to keep me company. I've got me job and all my friends, Mary and Owen. Oh, I shouldn't be sorry for myself. Ah, you just have a look at this. He worked in the civil service for over 23 years, you know.
God, I didn't realise.
No, I thought you didn't. So stop worrying. And let's have a look at this house.
Well, it is quite nice, actually. Do you want to have a look?
Oh, yeah.
Not having a full breakfast in the restaurant?
Morning.
Not having to economise, I trust?
No.
Good.
What made you ask?
Well, I thought now you're paying Lucy's bill, you might have to cut down a bit.
Did Davy tell you that?
No, Lucy's spreading it.
She told you when just now?
Well, she's sorting out her winter wardrobe in her subsidised chalet.
Excuse me.
Who is it? Mystery man or woman?
Richard.
Why didn't you say so? Come on in. Oh, shut the door behind you, will you? Sit down if you can find a place. I was just sorting out,
Yes, Jill told me that you were.
Oh, Jill's already given you the early morning bulletin, has she? Phew. It's hot in here, isn't it? Oh. You like this?
Not particularly.
No, neither do I.
And what were you and Jill saying to one another?
She's invited me to Chimneys. She's always inviting me to Chimneys.
Did you accept this time?
You know I didn't. Or did you feel I might have? Is that why you rushed over here to try and change my mind?
Chimneys mightn't be such a bad idea. We could still see each other, of course.
You'd want to.
Frankly, Lucy, it doesn't seem to be a question of what I want, but what amuses you.
So, if I went to Chimneys, as a reward, you'd come and see me occasionally. A sort of medication for the easing of withdrawal symptoms. And, bit by bit, you'd come less and less often until you'd be gone altogether. Back to Canada to marry Gina.
That's exactly what I shall do.
Yes, darling. Of course you shall. But Gina's thousands of miles away. And I'm not. I'm right here. All yours. For as long or as short as you want.
Well, I'm sorry, that's just the way I feel.
You won't even consider it.
No, not until after the baby's born.
Then there'll be some other excuse.
Kevin, will you please try and look at it from my point of view? I've got to be careful over the next couple of months, very careful. I want to keep my job on, and that means I have to have proper rest when I'm at home. And how can I do that when I'm trying to manage a new home all on my own?
Well, I'd help out in the evenings, you
Oh,
know.
yeah, like you're doing tonight, I suppose.
You only had to ask, you
Oh,
know.
sit down. For goodness sake, I can lay a few knives and forks. Oh, you do help, of course you do. Well, and I were just saying how good you've been. It's just... I'm scared, Kevin. It's my first baby, and I want to be here with Mum. Probably sounds soft. I don't know, maybe it is. But I really couldn't manage on that new estate. Please, if we just stay put for another year, then I'll move anywhere you like, I promise.
Yeah, all right. I'm sorry. We'll stay at your mum's.
Kevin, what do you think of this house?
Hmm?
Well, I mean, I know you've always been anxious to move, but do you really hate it?
Oh, I don't hate it. It's a nice little house, well built, not many overheads, rates are reasonable.
Well then,
Well, then what? What are you getting at?
why don't we buy this one? Then we'd have a place of our own without even having to move.
What? Are you serious?
Why not? Mum could have her own room, and it would be a nice little nest egg in the bank for her.
It's an idea. You're not just a pretty face, are you? No, she'd never consider it.
Hey, listen. If it meant us staying here for good with the baby, she'd jump at the idea.
All right. We'll ask her.
It's very sweet of you to say so. Oh, yeah. I wish I had.
Got some comfort.
Oh, hello, Jill. Care for a drink?
No, thank you.
I'll have that other bottle of lager, please, Mandy. Thank you.
Yes, Richard.
Lucy tells me that you invited her to Chimneys again.
You know why, don't you?
I know that you meant well.
You know why she refused, too, don't you?
I'm afraid so.
I don't think she meant well.
Thank you, Mandy.
Why do you let Lucy pester you so?
Well, I've no choice, have I? I mean, she's living in the motel. Not suggesting that I should move out, I hope.
I'd like to know who suggested that you should pay Lucy's bill. I mean, Gina's going to be surprised about that, isn't she? Look, can't you see Lucy is entangling herself with you? Well, that's how Gina's going to see it.
Jeez.
Lucy is a very determined young lady.
And I can take care of myself.
By taking care of Lucy?
By hurting her no more than I have to. Remembering how much I hurt her 6 years ago.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? You just forget how much she hurt you.
I was the one that was to blame.
Oh, no, you weren't. But you will be to blame if you let Lucy come between you and Gina.
Mum, before Matt gets back, could we ask you something?
Oh, you've been to have a look at the house, have you? Well, I've been expecting it. So, what are you thinking of...
We're not.
We're staying, Mum. We'd like to stay for good if you agree to what we're going to suggest.
For good? But, Glenn, are you sure? I know how badly Kevin's
I
wanting
still
his own
do.
place.
That's why we're going to make you an offer.
What? I don't understand.
Mum, will you sell us this house?
Everything legal through a solicitor. We'll get a mortgage.
Steady on. It's... Buy this house, but why? I mean, there's no need. You can live here as long as you like. You know that.
Yeah, but it wouldn't be ours. And that's what Kevin wants, you see, a place of our own. Don't you see? If we buy this one without looking round, we need never move. Nothing need change. You can have your room. We'll all live here. Nothing need change at all.
Except that I'd be happier knowing it was ours, more independent.
Yeah, and you said yourself you'd like to see the baby grow up here, all of us under the same roof.
Oh, yes, of course I would, but... Well, I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I mean, you've really sprung it on me, haven't you? It's a big step. And I mean, there's Ron to consider, you know.
Ron?
Well, of course. He's got a right to know what's happening. And, I mean, if I do agree to sell to you, well, he's entitled to his share of the house. I mean, then there's your share, too. Because, you see, if anything happened to me, then this property would be equally divided between the pair of you. And then you'd only have to... Oh, it's all
The
so complicated.
solicitor can sort all that out. There's no need to worry.
Yes, I suppose he could.
What do you think, Mum?
Oh, don't rush me, Glenn. I'll have to think about it. I mean, it is my home.
It would still be your home for as long as you like, wouldn't it, Kevin?
Of course, you don't think we'd throw you out, do you?
Oh, don't be so silly. Of course not.
Look, give Ron a ring, eh? See what he thinks.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that'll be best, wouldn't it? Before I make any decisions, I'd like to ask him.
Hello. I just wanted to look in the office address book for a number in Italy.
Oh, you're going to telephone your mother?
Yes. Do you mind if I do it in here?
Nope. I'm just leaving, and I don't think anyone else is just coming. I suggest you do it through the operator instead of dialing direct.
What?
Well, in that way, she'll be able to advise you the duration of the call, and it can go on your bill instead of the motel's.
Oh, yes, of course.
All you need do is ask for the overseas operator and tell her you want to make a call to Italy. Help yourself.
Oh. Switchboard. I'd like to make a call, please. Canada.
Yeah, that's the idea, Ron, if you're agreeable. Yeah, sure, she's here now. Hang on, I'll give her a shout.
Mum, Ron's on the line.
She wants to talk to you first, so we said we'd... Hang on, she's here. I'll hand you over now, Ron, all right?
Why, you didn't tell me you were ringing him now.
Almost before Matt gets home.
Hello, love. How are you? Good. Oh, I'm all right. Kevin's told you, has he? Well, I don't know, really. How do you feel about it? I mean, it is your home, after all. Yeah. Well, there is that about it, I suppose, so... You wouldn't mind, then? No. Well, I'll have to think about it. I mean, you'd get your share, of course you would. There's no arguments about that. Don't be so silly. Just as soon as everything's settled, but... As I said, it's all a bit sudden, isn't it? It needs time. Any chance of you coming down? Oh, that's nice. Oh, I look forward to that. Yeah. Okay, love. Well, take care. Yeah, I'll be writing tomorrow as usual. I will. Bye.
Well?
Well, it's quite agreeable to me selling if I want to. He said he's not likely to come back here to live, so...
Good old Ron. I knew he'd be okay.
Yes, he's too good-natured by half, I think, sometimes.
Mum, we wouldn't let him lose out by it. And he could come and stay whenever he likes. It's still his home, same as yours.
Well, that goes without saying.
So what do you think, Mum?
Well, I'm not sure, Glenda. You'll have to give me time to get used to the idea. I mean, it's come as a bit of a shock, you know.
Yeah, of course it has. No worry.
Hello, is that Miss Gina Moran? Oh, listen, you don't know me, but I feel that I must warn you about your fiancé. Well, not only is he having an affair with a little tramp, but he's moved her into the Crossroads Motel and he's paying all her bills. Well, no, I'm not prepared to name names. I do feel, don't you, that that's entirely up to him. But it seems clear to me that he won't be joining you in Canada. So, I wouldn't go ahead with any wedding preparations if I were you. What? Well, hang on a minute, I just... Wrong.
Hey, what are you doing here, huh?
I've just been speaking to Gina Moran, and she says that Richard's already told her about me and that I can't be getting very far if I'm reduced to making anonymous telephone calls. Whew, she's cool, that one, isn't she?
Are you saying you actually telephoned her?
Yes, I'm saying I actually telephoned
I'd
her.
have advised you not to do that.
Well, it's a bit late now.
Not if it dissuades you from doing it again.
What's the matter with you? I thought we had a pact. I'd break up Richard and Gina, you'd move in on Gina, and I'd move in on Richard.
Are you seriously trying to destroy their engagement?
Are you seriously trying to preserve it?
He'll never marry you, Lucy. Never.
Maybe not. Maybe yes. But having just spoken to Miss Gina Moran, I'm more than ever determined that he's never going to marry her. Worst thing a girl can do is to try to give me a flea in the ear about any man. Particularly my Richard.